Hey folks, welcome to another edition of Posi-TIPS with Rachelle. Folks, I am excited to continue this series on the perils and positives of a drifted gauge. So last time I kicked off this series by highlighting the importance of us really evaluating and taking stock of our lives to say, is my life working? How can I take responsibility to ensure that I'm living my best life now? I'm not waiting until next week. I'm not waiting until next month. I'm not waiting until next year. Take the appropriate steps now, take full responsibility for my life, and decide, hey, I want to live my best life now. What do I need to do to make it happen? But so when we think about the challenges of the coronavirus pandemic, and we think about adversity overall, certainly this has been the biggest source of adversity and hardship facing our world since we've heard the pundits say since the 1918 pandemic back then. But so when we think about our lives now, so everyone's facing adversity. Adversity, as I often say, is a great equalizer. I mean, there's no such thing as a perfect life. There's no such thing as a perfect person. There's no such thing as a perpetual winner. And one thing I've said for years and years now is life has a way of humbling all of us. All right, that's a Rachelleism. There are no exceptions to that rule. There are no exceptions. Everyone fails. Everyone loses. Everyone has a hard time. Everyone faces adversity. All right, it takes various shapes and forms, but there is no such thing as a perfect life. And so that's why it's important for us during hard times, during the losses, during the failures, during the sufferings, during the unpredictability, that we really allow our values to shape us and say, okay, and that's the thing when you think about a drifted gaze. So we go back to that and we think about life. I highlighted this last week, but I want to, for sake of continuity, I'm going to highlight this again, use this example again. So when you think about everyday life, everything is going your way, yada, yada, yada. Just human nature tends to just kind of fix on the gaze. This is my life. This is my routine. This is what I'm doing. This is where I work. This is this and this and that. So fixed gaze. But during seasons of adversity, during challenging time, during hardship, during struggle, that is when we are more prone, not always. There's some people who are just not capable or incapable or refuse to engage in any type of introspection to evaluate themselves in their lives. But for the most part, adversity will cause it'll cause your gaze to shift a little bit. Okay, this I'm having a hard time in this aspect of my life, or this part of my life isn't working out, or this part is just, an absolute nightmare, or, you got many people dread waking up in the morning and facing the reality of their lives. And so when you think about the perils of a drifted gaze, and you think about the positives of a drifted gaze, and the positives of adversity, and how adversity, like nothing else, and I say this all the time, and I'm gonna say it again, adversities shape us, develop us, mold our character like nothing else. All right, human nature wants to have it easy, everything always going your way, everything always perfect and great, but that's just not reality. That is just not reality. And that's the challenge of when things don't go your way, or when the hardship comes, or the struggle comes, or the loss happens, and all of this and that. And it happens to everyone. How we respond to that shows a lot about us as individuals and what we value, as well as, our character and things like that. And so life is going to be hard, but one of the positives of adversity causing our gaze to shift is that we can engage with a great dose of humility to say, what's going on in my life? Am I happy? Is this working out? Is this what I wanted to do? Am I living my life with purpose? What's going on? I hate that somebody may say, and many people feel this way, I do not like my job. In HR studies, human resources research and studies have shown that the majority of the workforce overall is unhappy and disengaged at work. I mean, they're just there basically to get a paycheck. And so we need to realize we deserve better than that. We deserve to be happy. We deserve to be fulfilled. We desire to be filling purpose-driven lives, knowing if we so desire, that's our goal, to make a difference in the world. All right, so the values piece and the beauty of that drifting gaze. You know what? Somebody may say, driving to work, I really dread getting in this car and going to this office every day. What is the problem? All right, but if that person just, and yes, there are demands. An individual may have a family to take care of, so certainly there are stipulations and ways to go about doing things. Certainly want to respect that and bring that in there for clarity's sake. But it's just so important that we evaluate what is going on. What is going on in my life? You know, if purpose is important to you, you got to ask yourself, am I making a difference? How am I making a difference? Is my life all about me, or is it about making a difference in the lives of my community, in my community, or lives of other people? All right, and so many people, and that's a challenge, and it's often stated that highly self-centered and selfish people are the most unhappy people you will ever meet. They're focusing on themselves and their needs and their own happiness and things like that. So yes, there is balance, but when we are living lives of purpose, the passion is going to flow, because you'll be doing what you feel you were purposed on this earth to do, and there will be other people that are going to benefit from that. And I gotta share with you again. I love Dollar Tree. So last episode I highlighted a couple of inspirational bags that I'd gotten from Dollar Tree. So this week's visit to the Dollar Tree when I was in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And that's why one thing I love about Dollar Tree, because they have these inspirational type of just trinkets that it's hard to find in other places, particularly to just walk in the store and buy. And so look at this placemat. Is this not the coolest placemat? But more importantly than it looking cool, what does it say? What is it telling us? Always find joy in the journey. Always find joy in the journey. All right. So whether we're dealing with whether life is going our way, which rarely happens, people's lives going according to their perfect plan. So if life is quote unquote going your way or not, it's important for us to find happiness. It's important for us to look for the silver linings. It's important for us to look for the blessings in life. It's important for us. It is so important for us. And to be open, and I'm talking about this aspect of being open in life and adaptable, all right, and being flexible and being willing to say, okay, this is what's happening now. I got to be willing to change, all right? The coronavirus numbers have unfortunately gone way up in this country. And so now grocery store shopping, all right, is going to be a little unpredictable, particularly in your larger urban cities and in metro areas. Why? Because things are running out of stock. So an individual who may be very set in his or her ways, and I only want this brand, and I'm not interested in any other brand, and that's a very popular brand that is now always sold out, got to be willing to be open. Let's try a different brand. Or let's try, perhaps I don't even want that, anything in that category. Let me try something else. Let me try something new instead of the same old thing that I used to buy for the last 15 years, a person may say or think. And so, folks, regardless of what is happening in our lives, folks, let's find the joy. Let's find the joy. Let's find the joy. Let's make a decision. But finding the joy in life, regardless of our circumstances, that's a decision. That's a decision. I mean, it's not going to happen naturally. It's just not going to happen just because you want it to. It's going to happen because we decide to make it happen. All right? To maintain a positive attitude in the face of adversity and struggle and hardship. Like I said, we all face situations in life, But these seasons of adversity and hardship and the drifted gaze give us an opportunity to learn, grow, develop, just as human beings in terms of our character and everything else. And I got to share with you a very practical example, and I talked about this a couple weeks ago on Fitness Friday. But I had another awesome opportunity when I worked as I was actually this time a co-chair of Precinct 13 here during our November 3rd election here in the city of Novi. And so if you recall, particularly on Fitness Friday, I talked more about it months ago, but had an absolute blast again. So I worked the primary for the very first time during the month of March. And then I worked it again in August, and then worked it here on November 3rd. And so, I mean, it was a wonderful experience. And our election clerk gave us, workers, we had these Novi branded face masks. Gotta love it, gotta love it. But so when you think about finding joy in the journey, in the positives of a drifted gaze. So yes, I'm very purpose driven in terms of my life and all about making a difference. But earlier this year, particularly when it was announced that, coronavirus was really taking hold during the month of March in this country, and we were having situations with making sure that our elections were well staffed in terms of poll workers and things like that. And so at that point I was evaluating. Again, the gaze had drifted from, helping people in this set type of way, whether it be speaking, training, teaching, whatever the case may be, consulting, to, okay, this is a unique opportunity to make a difference here in my community, in the city of Novi. And so the positive of that is I said, yeah, I'll do it. It sounds like it'll be an interesting experience. So I had a wonderful experience in March. I had a wonderful experience, and then I was asked, I was actually in Louisiana visiting my parents. I was asked during the month of September, hey, late September, got a message from our elections clerk, Courtney Hansen here in Novi, based on feedback and experience, yada, yada, yada. Would you be interested in serving as a precinct co-chair? And absolutely, I agreed to do it. But I looked at that, and that's why I said we have to be open in life. Okay, yes, I speak and write and all of that, train on leadership and leadership development. It's one of my areas. But I'm also always open to different opportunities to evolve as a leader, to grow and learn and develop my own leadership skills. And so it was a wonderful experience, And I would have, if somebody would have told me, again, and when I agreed to do it, the first, back in March, there's no way, particularly that, serving as co-chair, so having a leadership role like that, if somebody would have told me just the wonderful leadership experience I would have gained from that day, I wouldn't have believed it. I would not have believed it. And I just think about, that's just given me a greater appreciation for my great community here in Novi, which I've always known, but I just have a higher level of just appreciation and respect for the city of Novi, and just for wonderful residents who, truly, made it all wonderful. But just the scenarios in terms of just very unique leadership opportunities. Like, how do you lead when people are afraid? How do you lead when it's a high pressure environment, when it's stressful? How do you calm? And as I do, in all situations, I'm always a positive voice, an encouraging voice, an uplifting voice, and always building people up and encouraging people and showing that everything today, as I started off that day by saying, everyone, hey, today is going to be a great day. Today is going to be a great day. All right. But that became from, and I think about even something like that, found joy in that. There's great joy in that, unexpected joy in that experience the 3 times this year. So absolutely I will be doing that moving forward. But that is true in any aspect of my life. Okay, I've shared with you, a few months ago that with this coronavirus pandemic, in lieu of flying to Louisiana, which I've done for a number of years, to visit my parents because they are high-risk individuals. I just made my own personal decision. This is not, saying anything about anyone who makes a different decision. We all are responsible for making our own decisions and have our own opinions and ways of doing things. And so for me, flying to, I would have had to transfer and be in 2 very big international airports and all of that. And so I didn't want to put them at any increased risk for my potentially transmitting the coronavirus, because yes, hey, I'm in good health, but there's no guarantees. I'm in excellent health. I'm fitness fanatic and eat healthy and all doing all of those type of things, but certainly there are no guarantees. But I just knew I did not want to put them at any increased risk. With all due respect, like I said, I was kind of in that position to be able to make these type of decisions. So I decided, in lieu of flying to Louisiana, how about driving? And so in June of this year, made that drive on down to Louisiana, and then drove back down in September, and drove back up in October. And even on the road, even on the interstate, is just smiling, looking out, feeling so grateful for the opportunity to even have that being an option, for me, for the interstates and just our wonderful connected system here of interstates and highways and roads and all of that in this country. Was just grateful and found joy for that. So I stayed at, as I've learned now, Hampton Inns. Have my favorite cardio machine. I've been on my fitness journey since May 17, 1994, but my favorite cardio machine, Precor EFX, Hampton Inn has them. Hampton Inn, I was like, wow. So that has just been wonderful. So I stay at a Hampton Inn when I'm traveling. And so now I have a favorite new, with all due respect, and I've stayed in all types of hotels and had wonderful experiences over the years. But Hampton Inn is now going to be a hotel of choice for that very reason. And so, yes, the peril of the coronavirus pandemic from a traveling situation, we see the perils. It's harder. It's just a lot of uncertainty. And so the positive of that is that it reminded me, so for me personally, my going, and again, we're all in different situations in terms of our ability to travel, our willingness to travel, and all of this and that. But for me, not going to Louisiana was not an option, because I tell you what, folks, my parents, in terms of raising us, made us an absolute number one priority. Number one priority. I mean, no excuses. I mean, they were just absolutely all in, all there for us. And so I made a decision for me as an adult now, I'm going to be all in and all there for them as well. All right. And so this doesn't have anything to do with this episode, but it actually does. But it's like, parents, please, please, when we think about what's going on in the world right now, family is essential to be at the top of the list. Because when we think about, anything else you can lose, whatever, this and that, but family is truly where it is. And I'm just so grateful. Like, yes, I talk to them on the phone. Yes, we text and all of this and that, but seeing them in person, why, it was very, very important to me. All right. And then so not having that, not being able to see them in person was not an option. That option was not on the table based on my own childhood and the fact that they have been there for me, at each and every aspect of my life in various ways. And so that this coronavirus pandemic has reinforced the importance of, which I already knew was important, but it's really reinforced the importance of family, and just recognizing, when your world may be shaking around you, but folks, if you've got a good family, folks, if your parents out there, if you've got kids, please be there for them. Yes, talk to them on the phone. Yes, you can text. Yes, you can FaceTime. Yes, you can do all of this and that, but seeing them in person, the power of presence. I actually have a presentation, a speech called The Power of Presence. All right, and it's not the gift type. It's not the spelling and the meaning of gifts. Yes, that's good and that's nice, whatever. But it's presence. You're being there. You're right, because you take care of your kids growing up. Very good chance later on, and maybe not even so later on, they'll be there to help take care of you. And so, folks, we got to find joy in the journey. Whether it's me driving, when I had to make a decision, okay, I got to be open. All right, this is what I've got to do in this situation. All right, but if we're closed-minded, it only has to be this way. I refuse to change. I refuse to adapt, even though this coronavirus is causing us to have to. It's really unparalleled decisions that people are having to make in life, folks. But we've got to do it. We always make time for what's important. And let's just make sure that family is way up there on the list, as it should be. And so, folks, that is all I have for you today. It has been great. I cannot wait to continue this conversation as we move forward in this series on the perils and positives of a drifted gaze. So until then, you stay tuned, and always remember, I am positively passionate about your happiness and success. Make it a great day.